Okay, good morning. Let's get the stream going. Yesterday we'd been working on refactoring. Let me switch here before I forget. Refactoring the item code, and that's what we did actually. If we look at Git showhead, the last thing we did was add this target applicator code, and we extracted the AOE tiles code out of the GitHub repo because it wasn't, for some reason it was missing from the tutorial, but we figured that out. We were smart enough to figure that out, and then we deleted a ton of code in order to refactor all of the things that we needed to refactor for the new effects system. It deleted a lot more code than we added, and that's only because we took out some functionality. So there's functionality missing that we're going to have to add back in, but as separate systems. So the last thing we did was we reduced the item use system, so it all it does is inserts an identified item if we identified it, and then generates the effect based on what the item is. And then the effect system has to pick up the slack then and actually implement the effect. Whereas before, let's take another quick look. Before, what we were doing was each thing in the item use system would say, okay, is it a healing item? Then do a healing thing. If it's a mapping item, do a mapping thing. If it's a town portal item, do a town portal thing, and so on. So each one of these is going to be split out now into its separate effect that gets generated when we add the effect to the effects queue. Where we left off was here at feeding time. That was one of the things we pulled out here. Provides food.get. It's been pulled out, and so we're going to add it back in now as a well-fed effect. It looks like. So we start with food. Any item with a provides food component tag sets the eater's hunger clock back to well-fed. We'll start by adding an event type for this. Okay, so let's get going. So under effects, the mod has all the effects, and we'll just add well fed. Now we'll make a new file called hunger, which just does the well fed. We're going to have to call it somewhere, so we're going to have to figure that out. It's a pretty small file. So it's only affecting those two components. Okay, so this is interesting. Our effect spawner that comes from the mod, right? If we look at our effects mod, here's the effect spawner. When we have an effect, we generate it, we add it to the global effects queue, and then when it's time to run, we run the effects queue and we just pull each item off, pop front, and run the effect, and they get run in the order they were added to the queue. The target applicator thing, so we call the target applicators, which says if it's an item use thing, then trigger the item. Otherwise, if it's not, it affects targets on the map. Right, a single tile, multiple tiles, a single entity, or multiple entities. And then we call effect tile or effect entity. And eventually we get down to this thing where we're going to call well fed and pass in the effect spawner, but I guess we don't need it for the fed. We just need to know which entity is getting well fed. So if I'm reading this correctly, we're getting target. We're getting the hunger clock for a specific entity and resetting it. That's all we're doing. HG state, hunger state, well fed, HC duration is 20. So that's pretty simple. Very simple and straight out of the original code. We need food to affect entities rather than just locations, in case you make something like a vending machine that hands out food over an area. So tile effect hits entities. That's here. Okay, so we're going to extend this matches thing. We defactored it because Clippy was complaining, but we can expand it now. So if it's damage, we say true. I guess we can just do a matches also. Effect type well fed is true. Otherwise it's false. Yeah, I think this can be a matches. It can still be a matches macro, but we'll keep expanding this because I imagine things will get more complicated. We'll also need to call the function, right? So when we affect the entity down here, we're going to have to say type well fed. Hunger has to be well fed. ECS effect target. Okay, so here's where we're deliberately passing it in. So it's not like this has to be a specific function signature. We don't need to pass in the effect. It may be that a future version of the code is going to do this, and we'll just have to figure it out. Hang on one second. Sorry. Okay, so the event trigger then. Oh, that's in the triggers code. Okay. This is an item trigger. Here's the event trigger down here. Oh, that's right. We never actually did anything with it. We need to expand it to do all the things now. Providing food. Okay, so if there is a, oops, I did this wrong here. It goes like that. Okay, so if there's a provides food component for the entity that's being passed in, then we're going to add the effect of well fed for that entity, for that target. So the entity and the target could be two different things. The entity could be providing food to a separate target. That's the way I'm reading this. So you eat the something, names get, entity, unwrap, name. Oh, entity is the thing that provides the food. And has a target, and the target's going to be the player, possibly. Although we're not checking for the target being the player. I wonder if that's going to be an issue. If some other creature eats the food, should we be checking? If you cargo run now, you can eat your rations and be well fed once more. Alright, well let's do a quick check here. Because we added the hunger thing. I don't think hunger is going to... Yeah, hunger doesn't exist yet, so we need to add that up here. On hunger, pub use hunger star. Okay, let's do that. Okay, we have 3. Did I add a cargo check? I did not. I'm going to add a quick. Hang on, a little side detour here. Config neovim after ft plugin rust. I'm going to add a quick cargo check here, so I can just do it by doing a C here. There. Okay, so now if I go in here, I can run cargo check and find out what's wrong. Okay, so hunger. Oh, triggers doesn't need the prelude. And the use system doesn't need a mutable map. Okay, let's fix those. So we're not using spec, really? Because we, okay. All right, that's fine. And then use system doesn't need a mutable map, so this could be just read expect. Let's see if this builds. Yep. Okay. So if we cargo run now, of course, the way we do things is slightly different to the way they're expecting us to do it. And then we should be able to run around and lose our hunger and then eat rations and then gain our hunger back, or dried sausage or whatever provides food, right? All right, refresh, begin a game. So right now we're well fed, it shows it right here. We can go to the next level and look for rations. There should be rations lying around. Having God mode turned on is pretty, makes the game a little easier. I used to see them fairly frequently. Let's go to the next level. I'm not seeing them now. I guess, so we can just eat the dried sausage. I'm gonna hit Shift 1 here, and it does. And it says you eat the dried sausage and we're well fed. So that code is now working again. That's good. So let's commit these changes. Oh, hunger doesn't need it either. Okay. And what is it saying here? Oh, this is the matches thing. Yeah. Yeah, let's do this until we need something more complicated. We'll just use the matches macro. Because I think it's cleaner. There we go. Oh. What did I miss? I missed a... What did I miss? Oh, did I do it in the wrong spot? Yeah. Oops. It should have been gone here. Sorry, my brain was throwing me off there. I saw a double effect types and I said, oh, that's got to be it. Okay. Okay, we're good. Git add source. Added well fed back in. Okay, so now we're going to do magic mapping, which we can't do right now. So I think if we let's try doing it. Right, I know I can map this way. Reveal the map. I can do it that way because that's using the God mode version of it. But if I refresh, and I have to find a scroll of magic mapping now. Oh, there's rations when I don't need them. This is a confusion scroll. Shift 4. I don't know what it was. Yeah, that's the other thing is we change it so we have to identify all the items as we come across them. So finding magic mapping scrolls might take a while, right? There was something. What's this one? Shift 4. Oh, that's another attacker. It did something. There's something here. What's this? That's another scroll. Shift 4. I don't know what it did. It would also be nice to have something where you could say, oh, this is what you've identified so far. Oh, now I'm hungry. There we go. Now I'm well fed. One more scroll type, and then what I want to do is say, oh, you know, maybe that was the scroll of magic mapping, because it didn't do anything, right? Yeah, that was the confusion scroll. If I go to the next level now, I wonder if we can find another one of those and see it. Town portal, which should not work, right? Because we don't have that code linked in anymore. Yeah, if I just call that, so that must have been it. All right, so at least we're showing that the effects don't work. Here's town portals, but we'll do magic mapping first. So this is again inside event trigger. So this is interesting. All that code that was in the item use system is now basically going to just move into here. And this we could almost do as a macro, right? If I felt comfortable writing macros, which I don't yet. I think I'm going to take one stream and devote them all to just writing macros and learning how all that stuff works. Game log entries push. Yeah. So we're doing essentially the same thing, except it's just kind of individualized here. So just like the code in the old item usage system, it sets the run state to magic map reveal and plays a log message. If I cargo run now, magic mapping should work. All right, and then we'll do town portals. Let's just do a quick check here. That all works. Town portal. Right, this is all, so we should be able to write just a macro which takes in this and entity and then just says, is it a sum? Let map is ECS fetch, something like, you know, if entity has bang entity town portal, right? Just to make the code a little easier to parse by humans. Make it a little more readable. If map depth is 1. Well, this is interesting. So now if we use it in town, it's still going to get consumed because it's marked as a consumable. Right? So then you are teleported back to town. We always need the exclamation mark for excitement. Run state. Okay, yeah, so that's going to bug me now because it's still going to get consumed, whereas before it would not, right? If we look at the diffs here, consume item gets set to false, which meant, okay, you're already in town. We don't want you to burn your town portal if you accidentally type the wrong letter in your inventory system. Maybe we're going to get there. Let's see if we get there. Okay, let's see if this checks. It all checks. Okay, now we'll do healing. Healing is a more generic effect, and it's likely we'll use it in multiple places. It's easy to imagine a prop with an entry trigger that heals you, a magical restoration zone, a cybernetic repair shop, your imagination is the limit, or items that heal on use, such as potions. So we'll add healing into the effects type. Okay. Looks like we're also adding confusion. Is that coming up later? There's damage. There's confusion. Okay, so I think that just got added prematurely here. Amount 532. We'll just stick in healing for now. And then we have this tile effects hit entities. We're going to add in healing to that. Okay, that works. Since healing is basically reversed damage, we'll add a function to handle healing into our effects damage file. So inflict damage and I guess heal damage. Heal is going to be the effect. Target is who's getting healed. Okay, so this is going to be similar to this, right? Because we have pools, and then we can say if let some pool. It has to have a pool to heal, and then if let effect type. Yep, healing amount. So this is similar here. Oh, I guess we're allowed to heal in God mode. That's the only thing we're not doing here is checking to see if we're not in God mode. Is heal effect. So we basically destructure the type here. Okay. Pool, hit points, current. Let's zoom in. Uh-oh. Oh, plus amount. Okay. Right, so we'll take the minimum of a maximum hit points and the healed hit points, and that clamps it at the maximum. We're going to add a particle effect. And again, with this double bang, I'll just copy these lines here. And instead of orange and black, it's going to be green and black. That's going to be the heal, and then target, a single target. That's this. There we go. And then that, and then that, and then that, and then we're done. Okay, so this is similar to the old healing code, but we've added a green particle to show that the entity was healed. Now we'll need to teach effect entity to apply the healing. Oops, that should be a single equal sign. And pool hit point. Oh, pool dot hit points. Okay, and now we have to go back to the mod and come down here and say effect type healing. It would be nice if there was something on the effect type. We could import effect type and then just have it do the thing, but I guess we can't get that fancy. Oh, what do I do? Oh, it has to have a thing like that. There we go. Finally, we added a support for provides healing tags in the event trigger function. Okay. Targets. Oops. Close this and then comma. There we go. Targets clone. Okay. All right. If you cargo run now, your potions of healing now work. Okay. I guess we can take. We did a lot of changes here. I guess we can take a quick break and take a look at those. Wizard, thank you. I'm sorry. I don't know how long I've been muted for. What I'm trying to do is figure out how to get the name into the system here. Wonder how long I've been muted. Damn it. Okay. So what we did was we added the healing back in. So we healed up, but it didn't get reported. I picked up the slimy red potion. And then I used the slimy red potion on myself, and I healed up from 10 to 18, but it didn't report it. So I'm trying to figure out how to report it. And obviously this is not working. I thought I could fetch all the names this way. Oh, I'm fetching a resource. I don't want to do a fetch. I want to do read storage. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. So read storage. So does that do the trick? Almost. It's not heal amount. It's just amount, right? We've extracted that out already. There. Okay. So let's see if that works. I think this is worth taking 20 seconds to rebuild. Yeah, there's a mute button on my mic, and I must have accidentally just bumped it. I should have a little thing on here that shows me my current mic level so I can see when it stops moving. All right, so let's refresh here. Let's find the healing potion. Well, let's take some damage. Oh, there's a healing potion. That was fast. Okay, good. This time it's oily and green. So let's take some damage from the rat here. Wow, this rat is... I gotta make better rats. Okay. So now I will hit Shift 3. Nope, I drink the player, healing 8 hit points. Okay, so obviously I got something wrong. I don't want to drink the player. So it's not the... Oh, this creator is the... I thought that would have been the thing, right? Because this is the effect spawner. So the effect spawner is here. It has the entity that created the effect. And what this is saying is that when we do that, it's actually the mob that creates the effect. So we don't actually have access to the thing that generates the healing. That's a bad outcome with this refactoring. I wonder if they're going to address that later in the doc. All right, so let me pull this code out. Obviously, this is the wrong thing to do. We're getting the name of ourselves instead of the name of the potion we're drinking. All right. Okay. Right. Right. If you cargo run now, your potions of healing now work, but they don't get reported in the game log. All right. Let's commit these changes at least. Make sure Clippy's happy. What did we do? We added heal damage, magic mapping, and town portal. Right, okay. Oops. There should be magic mapping. Okay. So now we'll add damage. So we've already written the majority of what we need to handle damage, so we can just add it to the event trigger. But we are taking damage. And I'm able to kill things. Oh, this will make Magic Missile, Fireball, and similar work. Oh, I see. Okay. So those aren't working right now, I guess. And then confusion. Right, this is where we add the confusion back in. Oops, that's the wrong mod. This is the mod I want. So we did healing, we'll do confusion. Turns. And then, oh, tile effect hit entities. We'll have to add it to that matches statement. Here we are. There's that, and then we add it to the damage. So we're going to add confusion. Okay. So inflict damage, heal damage, bloodstain, death, and add confusion. Okay. So how similar is it? I'm just going to take a quick peek up here. How similar is it to the... So the bloodstain just inserts a bloodstain onto the map. This inserts a confusion... Unable to insert. It's probably what it says. Let's take a quick look. Insert status. Okay. Spyrova, thank you for the follow. Okay, so this is just inserting a confusion thing, and then we have to call that, right, from our mod. And then we're going to actually have to, oh, and then we have to add the effect in the trigger system. Okay, so down here we have well-fed healing. We can add confusion. And let's just add confusion with the same parameters. And then in the event trigger, we have after damage, we'll put confusion. And it's basically these same things, right? Except with confusion. So we insert it here, and then we handle it here. And that's enough to get confusion effects working. Okay. Let's see if that all checks. And then we're going to talk about triggers. Yep. Okay. Get add source. Get commit. Oh. Confusion. There we go. So now triggers. Now that we've got a working system for items, it's really flexible. You can mix and match tags as you want and all the effects fire. We need to do the same for triggers. We'll start by giving them an entry point into the effects API just like we did for items. Alright, so trigger fire. We'll also special case its activation. So target applicator. which is this. So we can use an item, or we can trigger an item, or it can have targets. All right, triggers trigger, and I don't think that's been written yet, right? We have to write that? Yeah. Oh, right here. Now in effects triggers, we need to add a trigger as a public function. Okay, so let's put it down here. Does it return anything? It does not. Okay. So the triggering system, the triggering item is no longer hidden. So if it was hidden, use the item. And then if it was a single activation, then it gets deleted. All right, oops. And that's that. There. Now that we have a framework in place, we can get into the trigger system. Oh, we don't have the framework in place yet. It doesn't. Oh, I misspelled it, didn't I? I spelled it trigger instead of trigger. There. We still have an error though. Targets. Okay, good. Just like item effects, it can be simplified greatly. We really just need to check that an activation happened and call the event system. So is this an existing system we have already? We do have a trigger system. Oh, look at that. I've forgotten all about it. All right, so we reduce the amount of items, things we need, and then there's only one trigger. We haven't already implemented teleportation. All right, so we will do that next. So let's start with this. We need the map, the entity move, position, entry trigger. You don't need to worry about hidden because that gets taken care of by the effects. We do need the name and the entities, the game log, and then for some reason we need an area of an effect, huh? Okay. We don't need anything else. All right, so let's clean up this one then. Entity move, position, entry trigger, names, entities, the game log, and then what are we going to call it here? Just area of effect. Okay. All right, so we're going to iterate the entities that moved and their final position. And maybe get their final position. We no longer need to do this. Okay. IDXXY is that, and then right. So we changed this for each tile content, right? That was this, but everything else pretty much stays the same. Okay, if entity is not equal to entity ID, and now it's got a star there. Oh, we don't have to worry about the star because we fixed it this way. Entry trigger. Do not bother to check yourself for being a trap, it says. And then let maybe trigger be this. Oh, yeah. So I'd change that to is some. That makes sense. Then we trigger it. So if we have a name, we say that it triggers. That's good. And then we call the effect system. So instead of doing this stuff, we're actually going to call the effects. So all this goes away. Right down to the single activation business. And we don't have to worry about removing either. Okay, so here, wow, there we go. Okay, add effect. And then the effect type, we fire a trigger entity ID. That's right, we don't need the star there anymore. And we're going to pass in a reference to a dereference of a map. And what else are we passing in? The radius. Right, that's that, that's that. Otherwise, it's a single target tile. Oh, I messed something up. This matches, that matches that, that matches that. I misspelled entity, but I don't think that's the issue. Oh, I have to close this first. There we go. Okay. And then we can just do entity move clear, remove all movement markers. I guess we don't really need to comment that, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious what that's doing. All right, does this check? Oh, we don't have area of effect. Oh, and we can probably remove this, right? Entity moved is there. Entry trigger is there. Hidden is not there. Inflicts damage is not there. We need the map? We do. Names? We do. Particle builders? We don't. Positions? We do. Single activation? We don't. And teleport 2? We don't. Okay. And then effects star should get us the area of effect function call. So that all works. That all, well, it all checks. So there's only one trigger we haven't already implemented as an effect, and that's teleportation. So we're going to add it as an effect in the effects mod. I guess right here. Teleport 2. Oops. Okay. So it affects entities, so we'll mark that fact. There's our big matches statement. Right, and then affect entity should call it. Oh, movement, huh? Okay. And then we'll need to add it to the event trigger in event triggers. Okay. X, teleport X, Y, teleport Y, depth is teleport depth, and player only is teleport player only. Okay. And now we need to implement it because we don't have a movement yet. Right. So let's add that here. Mod movement, mod views movement, and then we'll add effects movement. I don't think we need specs prelude, right? Clippy complained about that before. Use and use crate components by teleport. All right. Okay, and then if let. Okay, we're just going to destructure it here. So it's the same exact pattern as all the other ones. Although this one has an ampersand here. I'm going to leave it off and see what the error is when we leave that off. Okay. And what happens after this gets inserted is that we run the system, which does the actual teleportation. Right? We have a system somewhere which actually does the teleportation of the things that need to be teleported, the targets. And this needs to be a colon. Fetch is spelled with an H. Doesn't like star X and star Y. Oh, I guess we didn't need to. Maybe that's what the ampersand was here. It made all these references. But they're just I-32s, so why do that? Okay. So now cargo run the project and go forth and try some triggers. Town portal and traps being the obvious ones. You should be able to use portals and suffer trap damage just as before. Okay. I guess we can take a quick look at all that. Yeah, I think I need to buy a faster machine. We're up to almost 23 seconds now. Just as we add more and more code, it gets longer and longer. What are you going to do? Okay, so if I go into God mode and switch to the next level and look for... Yeah, the only issue with finding town portal scrolls, right, is that we're going to have... yeah, we're going to have to figure out what they are. Effervescent orange potion. There's only one healing potion. There's only one potion in the game that's healing potion, so it makes it easy to figure out. This one, based on the color, I think is a fireball scroll. If I hit Shift 4, yeah, it gives me an area to attack, and I can attack maybe here. I killed the wolf. I'm pretty sure that was fireball. What's this one? Shift 4. Magic missile, maybe? Yeah, see, the missile didn't get a log message either. Right? So I think we've got to be able to address this at some point. All the log messages are missing. There's the next level there. What's this one? Shift 6. Okay, that was a town portal scroll. We actually have the return portal here. So that should take us... Whoops. Oh no! So one of the drunks stepped on it and must have triggered it. That's unfortunate, right? Because we already had something that had the player only set to true. So we have a bug somewhere. The trigger is checking for player only. And we are setting it to true for player only here, I think. Let's take a look. 136. Yeah, it does have player only set to true on the teleport when we spawn the portal. Oh wait, where was that code that checked it? It was in movement. Yeah, and we don't have a game log entry, so we couldn't see what was going on. But we can at least take a look at the code. Let's do that again. RLTK console log apply teleport. Yeah, if it's not player only, but that's true, so this ends up being false. And the target or the target's player entity, which also should have been false. Oh, Swallow38, thank you for the follow. This should also have been false, so we should not have come in here to apply the teleport. So I'm just going to say apply teleport here in the console log. We're going to have to take a few seconds to regenerate the code and then try to get the town portal scroll, try to find one again. Or we add to the cheat menu. I mean, that would be something good to add, would be the ability on the cheat menu to add a... This guy's right in the wall. That's another bug. We got to figure out what's going on. To be able to summon, you know, scrolls based on the name, but we'd have to add code that allows you to type names in. Let's see if we can find a town portal scroll. They're kind of a light blue. That's how we know what they are. And the further you go, maybe this is one. Shift 3. Oh, that's a reveal. Okay, so we know that works. Sorry, that was a magic mapping scroll. There's another fireball scroll. There's a trap. The trap should trigger, right? Oh, you just got triggered. The bear trap triggers. An orc stepped on a bear trap. Oh, now I'm stuck because... Okay, here we go. What's this one? Shift 3. There we go. So that we are teleported back to town. That one worked. We changed level. That worked. So what I want to do now is see if we can draw without stepping on it. Oh, hungry. Dang it. Can we get... holding on the spacebar to see if we can get some town drunks or peasants or whatever. Come on. Come on down here. There used to be dozens and dozens in the town, and now when I want them to come and step on the portal, they don't. Oh, now I'm hungry again. And drinking a beer doesn't help with that. This is something also we need to fix, was we can hear sounds, but we shouldn't be able to see anything. If I step on the portal, it does take me back. All right, let's see if we can go down one more level and try again. What was that? It's a war axe. Oh, I'm hungry. Maybe I should I don't know if God mode would stop me from dying on that. I do have the breastplate though. Oh, what's it? Oh, that's right. This is the fort. With the lizard man. I'm just looking right now for a town portal scroll, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find any. That one? That's a magic mapping scroll. And that's oh, that's probably a magic missile. Alright, and if I step on this trap, it's a stonefall trap. Okay. So that worked. This is probably confusion or something. More war axes. That's a fireball scroll. Go to the next level and hope. Now I know there's a bug here. It says new map instead of the level we're supposed to be on. There's a town portal scroll. Okay, shift 3. I come back to town, but nobody's around. Because of course when they're on a different level, they're not going to come down here. I wonder if yeah, maybe I can get this guy to come out. Come on over here. Nope. Nobody wants to come over here. Drunk is dead. Oh, here we go. Are you going to step on it? Please, 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 please. Nope. Oh, you're so close. Now I'm starving. Okay. I think God mode's stopping me from dying, which is good. No, come on, buddy. You can do it. There's a tasty portal right here. No? That's a shame. All right. Well, that's it. That's debugging so we just got to keep track of this bug here. And you know, do I have a list of bugs? Yeah. Oops. There we go. The second one might not be a bug because it might be due to our stats, possibly. Okay, and then we do have this bug where townsfolk can trigger a town portal. Or at least consume it. Alright, so they step on it and it goes away. Oh yeah, maybe it's a consumes on... So even So in the use system, where do we check for consumes? We can check it in here, yeah. So it's definitely consumable. So even if we don't use it, yeah. it still gets consumed somewhere. Where do we consume it? Right, so if the item's triggered is consumable, whether or not it gets used, it gets consumed. So I think that's the bug. Yeah, okay, we'll leave that there. All right, so maybe that'll get addressed because there's a bunch. Yeah, so limiting single use to when it did something. Okay, yeah, we're going to get to that. All right, so we've done this. Let's add these in. Git add source and bugs. Git commit town. Oh no, just teleport. Working again. All right. So limiting single use to when it did something. You may have noticed that when we're taking your town portal scroll away, even if it didn't activate, we are taking the town portal scroll away even if it didn't activate. We're taking away a teleporter even if it didn't actually fire because it's player only. Yeah, okay. So that's the bug. All right, that needs fixing. We'll modify the event trigger to return a bool true if it did something and false if it didn't. Here's a version that does just that. We have to change all this. Oh, we're setting all these did somethings. Okay, that's backwards. We're going to assume it did something and then triggers, right? Event trigger. Yeah. So we're going to assume it did something and then set it to false if it doesn't. Easier said than done. Because this is really an annoying way to handle things, right? All right. All right. You got me. Magic mapper, town portal, healing, damage. I need to add a semicolon there. I need to add a semicolon there. And then teleport. Okay. Semicolon there and semicolon there. And then we're just going to return did something. And that means we have to go back to the top here and say we return a bool. And that's going to reformat everything. And now we have to actually check that return value. Wasn't it called event trigger? Yeah, it's called event trigger. Item trigger. Oh, we have to do it here. I see. Okay. And then we also have a function trigger here, which also needs to do the same thing. And so we'll just check did something like that. Okay, now that we've got the system in place, we can clean up all manner of other systems. The first thing we can do is delete the suffer damage component. Okay, so we no longer need that. Removing this causes the compiler to find a few places we're inflicting damage without using the effect system. Oh, nice. Okay. So let's pull up components. Suffer damage needs to go away. Pull it out of here and out of the save load system. Okay. And now if we try to build, it should show us all the places we were using it and we shouldn't. So there's no suffer damage there. There's no suffer damage there. There's no suffer damage here. And this is in the damage system. Huh, in hunger system we can replace suffer damage with this, but we need this here. What are we doing with this? Oh, okay, this is the hunger system. So damage system just had it, but it wasn't using it? Right, because this is our hunger system. So if we're starving, inflict damage from hunger. Hunger pangs are getting painful, you suffer. You suffer 1 HP damage, and then we're just going to add an effect. Okay, that's that. And that goes away, so that should fix that. We can also open damage system and remove the actual damage system, but keep delete the dead. We also need to remove it from run systems. Oops, I guess we have to add that. No effect type. Oh, it's not in tutorial, it's in the crate though. And targets also is in. Does it say where it comes from? No. All right, we're getting closer. Oh, right, we have this suffer damage thing. So, where do we use this new damage? Anywhere? Nope, it doesn't get used anymore. Okay. Done. I'm not worried about those. Oh, and this has to be... Oh, yeah. So we're going to... It says we can remove the whole damage system. Which, wow. Okay. But we'll keep delete the dead. Then it shouldn't be called damage system anymore, right? And then we have to remove it from our run systems because it doesn't exist. Suffer damage, no longer there. So that's this inflict damage, right? And then add effect doesn't exist, so we have to add that to here. Okay. I think the other errors are just because the type data didn't compile. Okay, so this got us to this point. We still have 3 warnings. Our damage system no longer needs point. And our damage system no longer needs mana at level, player HP at level, the map, or the particle builder, or attributes. Okay, so we're clean. And hopefully we can still take damage. So let's before we commit these changes, let's build all of that and see if it still works. So the hunger system should still injure us, right? And the various mobs should also injure us. So let's go get hurt. Here's a wolf. So we got injured by the wolf here. So that still works. I can pop back to town and then I can just become starving. I'm just holding the spacebar down just to use up. It takes a little while actually for the food, your food to start, switching over to hungry. Come on, there it goes. And then starving. This is another bug, right? The peasant says, "Why are you in my house?" I'm not in the house. It should do that only if you're in a house, but we don't have code right now to check to see if you're in a house. Now we're starving. And after we're starving for a while, we're going to start taking damage, right? Right? There we go. Okay, so, and then eventually you could just die of starvation. Good, so that all works. Let's see if Clippy's happy, and then we can commit these changes, and then we'll take a look. I think we're getting close to the end of the chapter, right? We're getting there. Common spawning code. So in Raw Master, we're still parsing the possible effects of items repeatedly. Unfortunately, passing entity builder objects around causes some lifetime issues that make the Rust compiler reject what looks like perfectly valid code. Should it cause damage every tick? Mizzard asks. So I was holding the spacebar down, so maybe it seemed like that, but it was dealing damage every turn, I guess would be the right way to say it. I'm just holding the spacebar down right now, so you can see it's using up. And these guys are still walking through the walls. We gotta fix that. So it wasn't doing it every tick, because that would be 60 times a second right now. It was just doing it every turn, which is fine. Git status, git add source, git commit, refactored, will suffer damage, component out, and deleted the damage system code. There we go. So we're going to work around the lifetime issues with a macro. So before spawn named item, we're going to add this macro. Okay. I'm not sure what issue they're trying to solve here. We're parsing the possible effects of items repeatedly. These guys here is what they were saying. I wonder if he noticed that was causing some performance issues. So we have an fx variable, which is an expression, comma, an eb variable, which is also an expression. And that becomes for effect in effects header. And that becomes our entity builder, eb with, provides healing, heal amount. This is not going to look as good as this because it's going to get all spread out. Heal amount, effect, 1 parse, by 32, unwrap. So that's that one. So these are all, let's just take a look here. I think these are all just these, right? With $signs instead. We are doing the stir to I32, which is new string to slot. I thought it was in here. Yeah, there it is. So it's just this code. So we got rid of that for this. I don't know. I don't know what he's. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I think this is just going to turn into all of this stuff here, right? We have damage, area of effect, confusion, magic mapping, town portal, which got flipped around, food, and then single activation, which is not in here. And this just needs to go like this, and then $signs in front of the EBs. And then these change to effect 1, parse I32, unwrap. Right, and then that's the range and that's the width, and then we put a comma there. Okay, so this is just going to be a lot of busy work here. EB width, inflicts damage, and then effect 1, parse, unwrap. Oh, and then this. Oh, that's already there, so we just put a comma there. Okay. And hopefully this will all be right. Like that. Town portal is just with town portal, so that's an easy one. Magic mapper is just with magic mapper. Food is just provides food. And then we have something new here, which didn't exist. Semicolon, and then close the macro, right? That's the whole macro. Yeah. We have this single activation. And then finally, a console log of failure. Just like that. We got the format, we got the effect name. That's that one, and it's not a semicolon, right? Okay, so I think that is the macro we want. Let's just run a quick check. Yep, 2 warnings, probably because we're not using it. So it's just like a function, but it follows a rather convoluted macro syntax. Basically, we define the macro to expect effects and EB as expressions. That is, we don't really care what they are. We'll do text substitution before compiling to insert them into the emitted code. Macros are basically copy pasted into your code at the call site, but with the expressions substituted. Yeah, so this effects an EB. Digging down into the spawn named item, you'll see that in the consumables section that we're using this code, we can now replace it with this. Let's some consumable, it's item template, so then we can just, EB with consumable. We don't need this create components because we already have that, and then we can just delete this entire 4 because we basically made it into the macro. Apply effects. Okay, so why is that helping us? If we go down to spawn name prop, you'll see we're doing basically the same thing. Oh, I see. This is where the single activation came out of. Okay. Yeah, so that's this code here in the prop template. Yeah, for effect and entry trigger, blah, 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 damage and single activation. So we can just replace this with this, right? Apply effects, bang, entry trigger, effects, and EB. And that deletes that whole for loop. Okay, so it cleans it up. We'll undoubtedly add more later for weapons proccing, spells firing, and items that aren't consumed on use. Making this change has meant that the same definition JSON works for both entry triggers and for consumable effects, so any effect that can work on one can work on the other. Some examples of how this helps. Let's add a new prop to the temple, an altar that heals you. Excuse me. So I'm gonna open up the tab. Let's make sure this all checks. We do have two. Oh, right. We're no longer using stir to I32. I don't know why we didn't just use it in the macro. I guess the macro ideally would be self-contained. Ideally. All right. So that should clean up those. Right. And then let's commit these changes. Git status, there we go. Git add source, git commit, macro, fi, the effects. Okay, and then in town, build temple. Here's a build temple. We add a bunch of different things to the temple, and then we're going to add the altar. So priest ALTAR is the way they're spelling it. Okay. And now in spawns.json, we'll add altar to the props list. So props. I guess we should put it near the candle or something to keep things together. I'm going to copy paste this because I don't know how to type that character. Okay. You can cargo run the project now, lose some hit points, and go to the temple for a free heal. We implemented it with no additional code because we're sharing the effects properties from other items. From now on, as we add effects, we can implement them anywhere quite readily. Okay. I hit save. There we go. Let's build it and see. Let's try going to the temple and seeing if we can get damaged and then healed. This will be done in about 10 seconds, hopefully. Maybe we can close some windows while we're doing this. Right, that's the roguelike tutorial we were looking at before. There's the dot files from there. We were looking at matches. Wizard's Bane, I remember that. I'm going to keep that tab. And this was Mizzard's code for the interpreter we were writing. Okay, which we'll get back to next week. All right, so we rebuilt this. Let's rerun it. Let's take some damage. Well, first, let's find the temple. So I don't know which one is the temple yet. It's not this one. So we need to run around town. That's a clothier, not a priest. Nope, nobody there. That's a rat's nest. We go through every building in town, don't we? There is some code to change to select the That's a blacksmith. The bar would be the largest building. That's mom. The bar would be the largest building. The temple would be the second largest building. But that's not working. That's an alchemist. That's not a priest. And I don't know why that's not working. Okay, there's the priest. And this must be the altar, yes. So the altar should heal us. So if we go get damaged by rats, let's go get damaged by rats. And then we can run up to the priest. Oh, I'm hungry now. Okay, so I got damaged by rats. Now we can run away. Oh, but the altar won't heal our hunger, just heal our HP. Okay, so let me step on this. And we'll watch the health. It does go up. All it says is altar triggers. It would be nice if it said something a little nicer than altar triggers, right? Something a little more poetic, possibly. Okay, but this works, so we're good. Added a healing altar to the temple. There we go. So restoring visual effects to magic missile and fireball. A side effect of our refactor is that you no longer get a fiery effect when you cast fireball, just damage indicators. You also don't get a pretty line when you zap with magic missile or a marker when you confuse someone. This is deliberate. The previous area of effect code showed a fireball effect for any area of effect attack. We can make a more flexible system by supporting effects as part of the item definition. Let's start by decorating the two scrolls with what we want them to do. Okay, so the effects is going to have this particle line. Interesting. Oops, Raw's spawn, so magic missile scroll. The effects is going to have this. I should just copy, paste. Doesn't need a comma. Particle line, star, semicolon, RGB, semicolon, amount of time, I'm guessing. Everything else stays the same. And then fireball scroll also has a particle. Like that. It just has different... Oh, it says particle instead of particle line. Interesting. Okay. So we've added two new entries, particle and particle line. They both take a rather cryptic string because we're passing parameters as strings. It's a semicolon delimited list. It could just be, I mean, they could make it an array, right? Or another type, right? You could do this and then name everything. This is more compact but less readable. So we need to add a couple of components in order to handle these things. Okay. We took out the suffer damage, but now we're adding these guys in. That's fine. So the first one is pub struct spawn particle line. Pub color is RGB. Pub lifetime MS is F32. And then spawn particle burst. Oh, I spelled mine wrong. And then pub lifetime MS is F32. Okay, they're both the same, so all right. In raw master, we need to parse this as an effect and attach new components. This looks like it's just right here. And then we have to add these lines to here. Okay. Oh, we might need to specify what it is, right? Although it just says use a vec of whatever's. You'd think it would be able to figure out that we're creating a vec from the collect call. Okay. So we'll create a new object of this type. Glyph is going to be RLTK2CP4 37. Tokens 0. Chars. Next. Unwrap. Okay, so that initial asterisk was the glyph that we are going to draw. From hex. Token 1. Expect bad RGB. And lifetime MS is going to be tokens 2, pars as an F32, unwrap. And then PRSE, and then parse particle should be exactly the same. Burst. Right, because it's exactly the same components. And then down here we're going to call those two things. So particle line reminds me of It Might Be Giants, Particle Man with parse particle line, fact.1, and then just particle. Right, that's straightforward. There's a check. Are we happy? Oh, you know what I didn't do? So I added those two things. I forgot to add them to main and to the save load system, which I need to do. Oh, what did I do wrong here? This should just be equals. There we go. So let's get these to check, and then I'll go ahead and add those to main and save load. I do need to give it a type. This is saying I can just give it a generic, a vec of whatever. Does that work? Yeah, it does. Okay. You'd think the collect would know we're creating a vec, right? All I'm doing is saying make it a vec. What else is it going to be? Oh, I forgot to change this to burst. Okay. So let's add these guys to here. Spawn particle line and spawn particle burst. And then we'll just sort it. And then go into the save load system. Where can we put it? What's a good spot for it? Doesn't really matter. So we'll put it right after wants to pick up item. So spawn particle line, spawn particle burst. Okay, that was in the saver load. Now we'll have to go to the next one and put it there. Lovely Mono says collect returns B where B implements into iterator item, so it's not clear it has to be a vec. Okay, that is something I did not know. So let's take a look at that again. So collect, what Lovely Mono is saying is collect returns B, which implements into iterator of item. So in order for it to be a vec or converted to a vec, we have to actually tell it we want this thing to iterate itself into a vec. So that's good to know, and I'm sure I'm going to get tripped up on that in the future. But thank you for that, Lovely Mono. Okay, implementing the particle burst is as simple as going to the triggers and adding the following at the beginning of event trigger function so it fires before damage, making the damage indicators still appear. Okay? This is only handling the burst side of things, not the line side of things. So. Background's always black. Lifespan is going to be the part lifespan ms, and then the target is going to be target's clone. That's the add effect there. Okay. Zombie Foo, thank you for the follow. All right, so line particle spawns are more difficult, but not too bad. One issue is we don't actually know where the item is. We'll rectify that. In effects targeting will add a new function. Find item position. This is interesting. So we have the entity, but we can't just grab the entity's position from the ECS. We actually have to do this. Oh, because it could be in the backpack or it could be equipped. So if it's equipped, it doesn't have a position on the map. If it's in the backpack, it doesn't have a position on the map. I see. Okay, so let's pull up the targeting system. Oh, I have an error. I missed that. What's the error? Lifespan MS is an unknown field. What did I call it? Oh, lifetime MS. Lifetime, lifespan. Oh, that's what threw me. It's lifespan, lifetime. Got it. Okay. There we go. So now in targeting, we're going to add a new function. And we'll see if we can find where it is. So let positions, ECS read, storage. Easy, it has a position. Right, so if it has a position, we've got it. If it's carried or in the backpack, then we have to get the carried owner or the equipped owners. And we just have to hope that when we're looking up the position, it hasn't already been removed from the backpack, I guess. So we just look at the owner. Okay. And then the other one is exactly the same, except instead of backpack, oops, copied the wrong one. Maybe it's equipped. Right, equipped. And this is equipped owner. And then otherwise we have no idea what it is. Okay. This function first checks to see if the item has a position because it's on the ground. It does it, returns it. Then looks to see if it's in the backpack, and then repeat for equipped items. So we can add the following to our event trigger function to handle line spawning for each targeting case. All right, let's make sure this checks. It does not. In backpack, and probably equipped is also missing. There we go. And then we need to go back to our event triggers. So we have a simple particle spawn, and then we have a line particle spawn. Oops, this and this, get entity. Then we're going to find the item position. And then match targets. So we're going to have to handle every single target that's there. Okay. Targets, tile IDX is going to be a spawn line. Ooh, I'm going to have to write a new spawn line particles. Okay, I have 10 minutes left, so I'm probably not going to get to that point. Spawn line particles. Easy to start, pause. We might have to just stub it out just so I can push this code up. And then part. Then we have targets tiles with an S, which is going to be tiles iter for each tile IDX. We're going to spawn a line particle for that. Okay. The next one is single target. Okay, and then we're going to say if let some end position is equal to entity position CS target spawn line particles ECS start pause and part. Okay, that's that one. And then targets target list. So we have a whole bunch of targets. We could just do one for each. Targets iter for each target if let sum end pause. This is code that I don't think we're using that right now. We don't have a scroll that has a line that hits multiple targets. We have a scroll that bursts. It hits tiles, which hits multiple targets. So this is code we can't actually try out. Although it'd be kind of cool to see, you know, you're standing in the middle of the thing and you hit like four targets, you see 4 lines just go blam right out of your fingers, I guess. All right, I messed something up here. That's that. Oh, I need a close here. And then this, yeah, okay, there we go. So that works. So each case calls spawn line particles, so we'll just write that. Okay, we can do this. We're almost done with this. And down here at the bottom, I'll just write this spawn line particles. It took us 3 days to get through this chapter. It's a very long chapter. So we get the map. We get the start point. We get the endpoint. This is wrong, right? This should be start. Yeah. And then line is RLTK line 2D, RLTK line alg. Bresenum. I think we used that before for other things. I remember using it for map building, this Pressenum line 2D thing. And an effect type particle. And it's going to have a glyph of the glyph. It's going to have the foreground of the specified color. It's going to have a background of black. Oops, that's awkward. Lifespan is going to have a part lifetime, MS. And then the targets are going to be the tile IDX, map XY IDX, point X and point Y as I32. Okay. Does this check? Does not, of course not. What did I do wrong? Oh, I have to give it a thing. A colon. What else does it not like? Oh, that's just syntax, right? Oh, we don't have targeting? No, it doesn't like that. What am I missing? All right, and then entity position. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Right, okay, so the other one, so the targeting, I thought we had. Pub mod targeting, pub use targeting. What do I have to do? Super? Yeah, I have super targeting. And that's, okay, let's just do that. It's not complaining about this missing, it's complaining about here's targeting. And there's find item position. Maybe it's just targeting like this. No, it doesn't like it. Yeah, similar path exists. Super targeting. Why? Let me put this here. Find item position. And see what it complains about. Oh, okay, that was it. Weird. Why didn't the star work then? Okay. So I think we're done, right? We're done with this chapter. You can now cargo run and enjoy the effects of Fireball and Magic Missile. Okay. This has been a big chapter of changes that don't do a lot on the surface. We've gained a lot, however. The inventory system is now easy to follow. The generic effect system can now apply any effect to an item or trigger and can be readily extended with new items without running into specs limitations. There are a lot less distribution of responsibilities. Systems no longer need to remember to show a particle for damage or even to know about how particles work. They just request them. Systems can often not worry about position and apply positional effects in a consistent manner, and we've now got a flexible enough system to let us build big, cohesive effects without worrying too much about the details. This chapter has been a good example of the limitations of ECS. Okay, so the other thing I just wanted to add was into the bug section here is, I think we fixed this one, right? What we need to add is the game log messages are missing for many of the effects. So we'll add that in. And hopefully Clippy's happy. And then tomorrow's Friday, but we're going to start with this one. And then next week we're going to switch back to our crafting interpreters. We finished chapter 6.2, I think, and we're about to start 6.3, syntax errors. So we're going to do that next week. And then we'll come back again to the roguelike. So tomorrow is going to be cursed items and mitigation thereof. Git add bugs and raws and source. Git commit. Added particle system display back in. Nice. Let's push this up and call it a stream. There we go. And that's that. Okay, so thanks everyone for hanging out with me. It's a little slightly over 2 hour stream, which is starting to be my norm, I guess. And I will see you tomorrow for cursed items. All right, take care, everyone.